Hello my friends, I'm Lucas and you are watching coldemonspl. If you like my work, please remember to click thumb up, subscribe to my channel and write some comment. You can also consider joining my Patreon to have access to extra content. The link is in the description below.
Today I have prepared more diorama episode and I will show you how I prepared a stand for Hetzer using various materials and products. To start with, I will need a picture frame with balsa reinforcement glued in, stone styrofoam, balsa planks, Tamiya paving and a Dio dump kit with a gate and a piece of wall. I have already prepared the walls and glued them into the frame and now I need to fill the center. I want to do it as quickly and as simply as possible to have an even base for the paving. It's best to cut such material with a hot wire because it comes out evenly and there is no mess. I really like this machine and I think I need to visit the manufacturer's website to see if there are any more interesting solutions. Whenever I take it out of storage, my children always want to cut something out. I wonder if in some time they will be so eager to come and build something of their own. As you can see, this method is perfect for even cutting and I don't even think about cutting such pieces with a knife. I glued both pieces to the base. I used PVA glue because I wanted both pieces to sit rigidly in this place. Additionally, I pressed toothpicks into the foam, of course to connect them even more and immobilize them. I trimmed the protruding pieces and started cutting out the appropriate size paving. I haven't used this product before, but now I know that it's very cool and perfect for such scenes. Its price is not high and the time saved on building the street from scratch can be spent on other works. After cutting, I glued the entire sheet to the PVA glue foam and carefully rolled out the surface so that the glue was distributed evenly over the entire surface. From the Dio dump set I took out a gate, one piece of wall and two columns. The rest will be left for another project that is already waiting in the queue and will be based on similar elements, but its appearance will be completely different. The resin gate didn't require much work, it was enough to only cut off the filling channel and gently clean the edges. The same with plaster elements. Of course, I connected all the elements with toothpicks exactly as you can see in the video. This is much better way than connecting elements only with glue, especially since plaster is quite difficult to glue tightly. In this situation, such installations definitely help in holding the elements together. To glue the whole thing I use AK PVA glue and VMS CA glue. I use the handsaw to cut the wall evenly. You have to work a bit to cut the necessary piece, but working with a machine wasn't possible because the amount of dust would be too high. Sometimes you have to use good old methods and not play with fancy tools that usually help us significantly in our work. One tip I would like to mention is using PVA glue and leftover plaster to fill joints or empty spaces. Just apply some glue and cover it with plaster powder. Shaping is very easy and you can add layers until you are satisfied with the result. Of course, this is quite dirty work and you have to be prepared for a mess, but wet wipes can help keep your workbench tidy. Let the work go on, and I would like to mention my wonderful patrons who support my activity. Massive thanks, guys! These are people who believed in my passion, saw something valuable in it and decided to support me. It's really great when you know that there are a few freaks in the world who think like you, want to watch what you do and appreciate the effect of your work. This is really super motivating and gives you a strength to continue working. Please don't forget that you can be one of them. It's very easy because now there is a chance to enter this superb group without pay a penny for 7 days free trial. This way you can check whether you like what I publish for my patrons or not. You can surf on my page with no limits, watch and download all superb high-resolution pictures, watch progress shots, check stories with unpublished in other media's models, read the articles, watch the videos with no adverts and enjoy other benefits. Just for free. Thanks to this, I will try to give you some interesting content to keep you informed and entertained. I'm not pushing, but you know, I'd like to make millions from modeling and this is the easiest way. I'm joking of course, but the truth is that it would be great to do this as a regular job. The only way is to build a channel and get new patrons. That's why in each episode I encourage you to support me in my passion. And I realize it's not easy these days, but if you have a few bucks you could drop in my cap, that would be great. Thanks! I painted all the balsa boards with Tamiya black paint. I didn't dilute it because I wanted it to cover the small holes in the balsa as much as possible. 2 layers will be enough. Just wait some time or use an accelerator and apply a second layer to build the appropriate color depth. Now you can watch how I paint the gate and the wall on its sides and how I prepare these elements for weathering. I hope I presented it clearly enough, but if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. What I wanted to mention is that after attaching the wall with the gate to the base, I covered any imperfections with modeling clay from Modeler's World. It's a very nice product with a long drying time that we can use in various places and for various purposes. According to the producer, we can use it to create terrain elements or leave tracks or wheel marks in it. In my opinion, it's worth attention for modelers building vignettes and dioramas. I also used it as a base for sand. There were 3 places, 2 next to the gate and a long one in the front of the base. To make the next step, I soaked the appropriate part with glue and then poured sand. I added a bit of glue here and there and let it dry. For coloring I used products from AK Interactive. This is quite an interesting solution worth testing. I don't have a large area here, but you can see how this product works. You can see more in my Open the Box, link is in the description. I added some foliage to the wall, first moss and then some grass and small bushes. They were perfect for creating the right atmosphere in the diorama. Additionally, I sprinkled some fragments with dry grass and glued them with VMS glue. The road received the appropriate portion of pigments which I rubbed with my fingers to obtain the effect of a trail worn by trucks and other vehicles. Additionally, I added some dried leaves that I stuck to the road, thus creating a slightly cool autumn or early spring atmosphere. As the tallest element, the telegraph pole needs a bit of work. For this I used a set from RB model. I wiped the wooden element with the sharp tips of the tweezers and then cut the sides at the one end. I shortened the length by a few centimeters and sharpened it to make it easier to drive the pole into the ground. I prepared the angle bracket and attached the insulators. I glued them with strong glue and cleaned the excess with VMS debonder. As an additional element, I added a cut piece and tied it with a thin string. Now the pole looks much more interesting. After painting the rope, I painted the whole thing with a dark wood wash. The effect is super realistic. The entanglement of the telegraph cables on poles is often treated by modelers as an insignificant element, but in my opinion it's a small detail but very visible and effective. Of course, the easiest way is to copy what you can see in the photos of the real poles as much as possible. My solution is quite close to this, maybe not perfect, but I tried to make its final appearance at least similar to real wires. Of course, it requires some practice because it's not easy at the beginning, especially since we are working with a material that is quite flexible and easily bends in the least expected moments, of course. With a bit of practice you can create wires that are broken and lying on the ground, but also wires that are hanging normally. Of course, the total length must be taken into account and it's impossible to stretch the cable several dozen centimeters using one pole, but for the needs of a small vignette it's possible and gives great results. I decided to arrange 4 broken cables, introducing some variety, drama and height to the entire stand. After gluing them, I painted them dark grey, being careful not to touch the previously prepared surfaces because it would be very inadvisable and would require a lot of additional work. Along the way I applied a few oil stains as spills from a passing vehicle, but I decided that it didn't look nice among the leaves, so I didn't paint too many traces. As a great detail I added 2 crumpled old newspaper that I cut out from the Plus model set. They are perfect for this application and add an additional element to the overall appearance of the street. I painted the tracks with light grey so that the Hetzer wouldn't look like it was dropped by parachute. For the walls of the stand I prepared small photos of the Hetzers that I had in my collection. Most of them are easily accessible and can be found on the internet. I glued them to the balsa with PVA glue and they definitely enrich the look of the entire stand. For the front I cut out a template and traced the letters with a pencil and then make them more visible with the AK weathering crayon. The effect is great and I didn't expect to like it so much. It was a complete improvisation, but it turned out to be a hit. Finally, I attached the Kriegsberichter figure. I painted the whole thing with acrylic paints and glue a piece of a pin to its foot to easily attach it and to make it possible to remove it during transport. This is what the entire project looks like when it's 100% complete. I'm very pleased with the effect, but I'm also fed up with Hetzers for a while. I think I showed the model in a simple but interesting way and told a story using a minimum of materials. Looking at this project, I have the impression that I did a good job meeting all the necessary conditions to create a good vignette. Please tell me what do you think in the comments. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Also consider joining to the Patreon I mentioned earlier. The next project will be something very modern. If you follow my channel, you probably know what type of vehicle it will be. It's coming very soon. Thanks for watching, that's all for today, see you next time, cheers!